Now that politician,
Yeah, Rashad Tate.
yeah, when he exploded and did that to homeboy, I was like, I knew that was sitting up in you.
Oh yeah, that white dude. Yeah, I show you that he just another nigga himself.
But all at the same time, look at who he beat down.
Yeah, the white dude. What you getting at?
Fragile. A fragile, very easily intimidated white dude. Because most white men are very intimidated.
Right.
Now, I will say this about the Europeans, considering me having a experience in boxing. Now, when you get into a fight with the European, whether it's on the street or in the boxing ring, you better hurry up and knock them out. Because the European cannot take a punch, but they sure can give one. The white boys hit hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hard. They hit very hard, but they can't take the punch.
Well, how do they hit hard if they can't take no punch?
Because that's just the way they're made. You know, because the European has a strong fear factor. That's why the European is very aggressive. Now, people may say, what does that have to do with that? That's an oxymoron. It's not. It's not an oxymoron. They have a high level of fear, and that's exactly the reason why they have to be aggressive in order to cause fear in other people so that they won't be afraid. See, they have to make you feel insecure so that they may feel secure. So when you get into a ring with the Europeans, you better hurry up and get them out of there. Because if you spend too much time in there, there's a very good chance you're going to get knocked out. So they some strong men when they're aggressive. But when you use your aggressive towards them, they crumble. So they're strong, but they're fragile at the same time. They're strong when they're aggressive, but they're fragile when you're aggressive.
Right.
You know, so when I saw him beat him down, I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't do that to Ghost.
Oh, Ghost would destroy him.
And you know, considering the way Ghost, the way that they're writing him, the way that power is going on right now, Ghost is not going to survive power.
Oh no, I can't see it either.
He's not going to survive. And one of the biggest hints is the fact that they had the nerve and the courage to kill Angela off.
Right.
So I'm looking at the writing, I'm listening to the writing, and I'm like, okay, for them to kill one of the primary characters off, you have got to have some brilliant writer to balance that out, to balance her presence out. How can you sacrifice Angela and the show still work?
Right.
And then I was looking at it. I'm like, okay, they boosted up Lala's character a little bit, who's going to lose her son. Okay.
She's going to lose her life.
Yeah. Tasha, her character is being fed a little bit more. Just a little bit. And Ghost is becoming more and more immoral. He's lying more, he's killing people, and he's manipulating. I mean, Ghost is the biggest liar I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
And Tommy is out of control, but he's in control all at the same time. And from what I'm seeing with the show diagram, they're slowly making Tommy the favorite character.
Yeah, because Ghost is irredeemable at this point.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. But all at the same time, just like you and I said the other night, those two are equally evil. These two guys are evil. They're killers. And so what they're putting out in society, like what you and I had talked about what they did with Hannibal Lecter and stuff like that. Now, what they're doing, they're not going to give you any more choice between good and evil. What they're going to do now, they're going to give you the choice between evil and the lesser evil.
Yeah, from bad and worse.
Yeah. But, bad and worse, that's just the point of view. But, the primary thing when it comes to humanity itself is the evil and the lesser evil.
Yeah, because, I watch... Oh, you go.
And so what they're trying to put out there, and a lot of people are already getting it, is that the evil is going to be considered the good without verbalizing that it's the good. And so, actually verbalizing it's the good, because what they're doing with both of these characters, they're making Ghost the evil one and Tommy the good one, even though Tommy is the lesser evil. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, man, I watch a lot of TV shows and stuff, man. I noticed over the years that there ain't, in almost none of these shows anymore, there ain't no good people at all no more. And me and you didn't talk about this before. I'm like, dang, I want to find somebody to root for. Even with superhero shows now, even with superhero shows, the superheroes ain't even that super no more, because they doing almost the exact same thing the villains doing. You see the superheroes now, they snorting coke now, and a lot of these superhero shows, they cheating, just screwing in and every woman, or going both ways. I'm like, man, when I was coming up, there was a clear line between good and evil. Now it ain't no line at all. Everything is blurred, and I know that's purposely by design by the people who are the writers of these shows and the so-called, I don't want to say, I ain't trying to get too conspiratorial, but the Illuminati, they purposely are messing with people's reality to where, like you said, you ain't able to tell anymore. It's like evil and lesser evil now. It ain't even about good no more.
Yeah.
And they so good at writing it that we rooting for the characters, not knowing that, not realizing that both of them need to go, or all of them need to go.
Well, what they're doing, they are taking very gifted writers who are very good at creating these dual characters, and they're putting these writers to use, and at the same time, they're dictating what these writers are supposed to write, because you've got producers, and you have people behind the producers that puts them in the position to choose what people in the back want to produce for the world. I mean, that's just like I was telling you about the forums. Those people out there who you're talking to, those people are just puppets. They're asking you certain questions to get certain information out of you, not for themselves, but the people who put them out there.
Right.
And so what you're looking at is they're not leaving you any choice. I mean, what used to be good is looked upon as ridiculous now, or not enough. And so what you have to do, you have to sprinkle a little bit more evil into what used to be considered good in order to attract people. And if it's attractive and if it's enjoyable as far as entertainment is concerned, then these people, through their admiration of all of this, they're going to conform to these images.
Right.
And when you conform to these images, then you begin to love these characters, and then you and then you form an opinion in your own state of morality. And then once you form that opinion, then you look at a Tommy as not totally evil, but he's a necessary evil, and therefore, if he's a necessary evil, he's considered good. And so you have to choose between the two, even though they both are corrupted. So it's deep. The way that I was listening to their writing, I'm saying to myself today, I said, okay, now, how can they keep this show strong without Angela? And I'm listening to the way they're writing the show. I'm like, okay, I see it's in the writing. If you listen to the writing, and then if you listen to Tommy at the funeral scene, Tommy sounds like he walked right out of the family of Godfather.
Yeah.
And he is totally ruthless. You killed this woman and you consoling her sister?
Right.
Okay.
Even her father too. The sister girl father,
yeah.
like, dang.
Yeah. Now, if you look at that, instead of the audience who would be back in the 90s, or I would go back as far as the 80s and the 70s, to see something like that, that would be considered downright evil to the viewer. But in today's society, man, you see what he did? Man, what's the conclusion? Man, that Tommy's hard, man. That dude is cold-blooded. See, cold-blooded has an admiration type attachment to it today. But cold-blooded, back in the 80s and the 90s, back in the 70s, that meant that was somebody who was just downright evil.
Yeah, a soulless person.
Yeah, but cold-blooded today is admired. And why is being cold-blooded today admired? What the hell happened to everybody? Because a lot of people have been hurt by so many other people. And most people who would admire somebody like Tommy and would admire his lack of humanity are the people who've been hurt in their life. And so they look up to somebody like Tommy and say, you know what, I should have been like him, or I've become like him because I've been hurt. And Tommy's been hurt.
Yeah.
Tommy comes from a whole lot of pain. Tommy's got a lot of pain sitting up in him. That's why Tommy can blow somebody's head off and go home and sleep at night. It doesn't mean anything to Tommy to shoot somebody. It doesn't mean anything to him. And that comes from abuse. That comes from being in pain. That comes from people hurting him. And so he lashes out at the world. And that's one of the main things that I told my both my parents, because I sent them the same letter. I told both my parents, I said, but you want to know something? No matter how much all of you have mistreated me, you're not going to put me in a position to where I'm going to hurt others. I'm not going to let you kill me like that.
Right.
I'm going to continue to be respectable. I'm going to continue to be lovable. I mean, that's just like what I'm going through right now. You ain't going to destroy me to the point where I can't love somebody. I'm going to keep right on loving somebody. Because that's just who I am. And there's nobody in my life journey that's so tough that they can change me and make me into something that I'm not. I've suffered through that.
Right.
And I've been liberated from that. So I know what it feels like to be contaminated with someone else's poison, and you walking around for like 33 years, contaminated, and being forced to hate your own parents. Man, I had to be liberated from all that. But see, you can't do that to me now. You can't do that to me.